Hello ladies and gentlemen, MarauderEX here back with more Let's Play Grandia II. Let's step on the seal. The sword has brought me here. It's high time we sought a reckoning with Valmar. Are we prepared? We are prepared. It's time to make an end of this. Alright, so just as a heads up, you cannot leave the final dungeon once you do this. Like this, once you're in the final dungeon, you're done. There is no escaping the final dungeon. So it seems kind of superfluous at this point, considering there are a lot of treasures in the final dungeon that are money that you will never get to use. So keep that in mind. But we use the power of the Grandia Saber to enter New Valmar, and that's something that I realize I haven't talked about. Grandia Saber, 150 attack, cuts SP consumption by 15%. That is pretty much the best we've got for him. It's impressive. Also, one thing I want to do is I want to power up True Dragon Rise, as well as Vitality March. These are things that I'm going to need for upcoming fights. So, just something to keep in mind. We are inside Valmar. We've got some enemies that we are going to just ignore. We don't need to fight any of these guys. We are actually well over-leveled for what we are doing. I mean, I could show them off, but I guarantee you I'm going to get into a fight with a good number of them over time, so it's not pressing. We have 3,000 gold that I'm never going to be able to use, because I can't leave. This dungeon is multi-platform, so you're going to be going above and below to get to certain points in the dungeon. That's really the long and short of it. It likes to think it's a rather complex dungeon, but it's more silly than anything else. Because why is the inside of Valmar, you know, a multi-deck platform? But I'm getting ahead of myself. So we've got new enemies. These are not actually new enemies. These are old enemies. So, and we were surprised. These are the dragon things. I want to keep this fight in for one particular opportunity. I was discussing with Felix, we've gone through and made it to the end of the game, discussing various strategies, and one strategy that he used that was very successful for him, and I want to try it out because it seems really interesting, is pairing the tight dress with the dragon rod that you can get from these enemies to cast Dragon Zap, which is what they are using on me right now. The tight dress makes it so that you take no damage from magic, but you also can't use magic. So it's a very double-edged sword, because, you know, putting any sort of mana egg on Elena using the tight dress, she's not going to be able to use it. So the Dragon Rod allows you to cast Dragon Zap in its place. Not exceptionally powerful, but it makes it so, you know, she can cast spells. Plus, paired up with skilled item use, double up trait on that, and then as well as using the item recover ability, much like I've put move recover on Ryudo, they traverse half the IP grid as soon as using their move, so they can throw out items incredibly fast. And one strategy I kind of want to use with that would be using these feathers to basically make Elena a character who gives other people turns over herself. So that's something that I've been looking for. Let's see, we got the Holy Crown versus the Loving Ribbon, which we just have. Restores some HP in combat versus suppresses IP slowing. We're going to keep the suppresses IP slowing. That's really not worth keeping. But then we can come up over here as well and get an item once we go in through here. But we have enough feathers, and then you can buy silver feathers, you know, all extensively by that person in town. There's nothing in here, I believe. I think that's just an empty room. So we can just come back up this way, and we go up the middle path, and that's actually the way we want to leave. But that's a strategy that I kind of want to try out, but I know this strategy works. So I've got a fairly strong end-game team that kind of specializes in something, but doesn't have to. And here we get the Dirk, which I believe is... Yep. It's Roan's best weapon. It also casts WoW, even though it just says WoW in the little parentheses, which is hilarious, by the way. Alright, and we need to now get out of here, and I believe that is not the way, but this takes us to another treasure, but it's going to have another fight with some actually new enemies. And these guys are Killer Trees. Level 44, 2310 HP, defensive 382, movement of 71, action of 134, magic defense of 75, weak versus earth, strong versus fire, so unlike their regular tree counterparts. And they drop 2 seeds, either omnipotent seeds or all-around seeds. So naturally we get nothing that's actually going to be worthwhile for them. So they are weak versus earth, they say. So we will quake. And while it's like I have 2, I should have 2 earth chance on her, which would make that much faster ability than what I was expecting it to actually do. So there's that. But it doesn't matter, they're still dead. No one cares.
You picked on the wrong people.
You have picked on the wrong people. And see, the fun thing is, I've actually already recorded all of this. I went through this already. The only problem is, there was a recording glitch, and I'm like, well, damn, I lost, a fair bit of recording, so I've got to go back and do it. Well, if I've got to go back and do it, do I want to do a new strategy, or do I want to do a strategy I've already been familiar with? So, anyway, we are actually getting ready to finish Valmar Section 1, which is going to be guarded by some enemies. Not a threat by any stretch of the imagination. These are Valmar Magnas, level 51, 20,000 HP, defense of 336, movement of 79, action of 214, magic defense of 176. They are strong versus fire, and they can drop the Brave Dirk or Mystic Potion. Brave Dirk is actually the strongest weapon for Roan, but it's also a really rare drop because you've got to come into this boss-type fight with these enemies, hoping they have the items. And then Valmar Moths, level 51, 3,200 HP, 303 defense, movement of 142, action of 230, magic defense of 104. These are weak versus fire, so that's, that's a cute little trade-off. We're not going to be using either of those things. We're going to be using these things. I've kept Ryudo in his power of, I'm just going to Sky Dragon slash everything to death and have at you. So, have fun with that. Build an adventure with that, he asks.
Sworn enemies, you shall be defeated.
Yeah, that's basically the long and short of New Valmar 1. New Valmar 2 is pretty much the same, just on a slightly larger scale. So, we've got that going on for us. And True Dragon Rise should take him out. And what do we got? We got Boom. Let's do Meteor Strike. You guys haven't seen Meteor Strike. Have fun with that. He may not survive this.
1200.
The explosion spells really are the neatest ones. She's like, oh, look, a meteor. Oh, wait, that's not the right meteor. And in one fell swoop, Tio is now able to do what Sephiroth didn't do, and that's angry-faced Moon trying to crush Termina also failed to do. So, yeah.
The ultimate secret. True Dragon Rise.
Oh, he's still alive! How impressive for you, sir. We'll fix that.
Tensei can slash!
With that. There we go. Not only are you cancelled, I cancelled you permanently.
We're no real challenge.
I really do love the Grandia Saber model, too. It looks fan-freaking-tastic. It's an impressive-looking sword. Probably one of my favorite-looking sword models of any RPG. Because I like bastard swords, hand and a half. Oh, and hey, look, we've got, Valmar, kinda gooing up the joint here, it seems. And, his response is, flying into space. Because, you know, when you're a dark god, and that's your response, let's just do that. Alright, so, I'm gonna get around him. I don't want to deal with him. He's a waste of my time. Alright, so, Valmar Section 2 is basically this large central room where you can see we can walk on the green stuff that is actually thick enough to walk on, and then there are raised sections. We really can't do much with this here. There's a couple of side rooms that we can go to. There's this one that we'll go around in and get a rather useless item in the grand scheme of things. And then we come down into this room, and the red eggs will actually explode into the Valmar moths, meaning we really can't avoid a fight in that room coming back through. But I wanted to come through here and get that. That is the Holy Sword armor. That is the best armor for Ryudo. It says raises power of moves versus ups power of moves. It raises them substantially. It's going to make Sky Dragon Slash much more effective, which means going through these fodder fights is going to also be much more effective. So I'll leave the fodder fights in for now, because it's really not a problem. Plus, this allows me to kind of artificially extend the life of the game, because there's really not a lot coming on other than the final boss gambits. So Sky Dragon Slash, this should take, yeah, that'll take them all out. Yeah, I love Sky Dragon Slash at this point. And what do they drop? I forget what they drop. Oh, Meteor Scroll. Okay. Not really all that effective, considering, you know, I have someone who can cast Meteor and do it pretty well. I'm gonna make sure I've got the right... Yeah, Wizardry, Boom Cloud, so... Fire, Wind, Wind, Fire, Lightning Explosion, Lightning Explosion. Okay, so yeah, I got everything. We're good. Just that... casting... that one spell that I cast not taking... or not going through as quickly as I was expecting it to. Alright, and we managed to get out of there with only one fight. That's wonderful. And that's really the only thing to do in that section. There's nothing else there worth doing that we can actually do. That one path is really just an entire pain in the ass, because that's all you can do. There's go that direction. And this way we go up, and this is another one of these wonderful hexagon rooms, which has a helmet in here, which we want once its little eye opens up. Want the eye. If you open things that are not correct, monsters will spew out of them, so we want to do that. And we've got God of War helmet, reduces IP slowing. I'd rather keep the 10 attack and then the suppresses IP slowing, so God of War helmet's really not worthwhile for any of my people. I'd rather have the 5 action as well on Roan. So there's that, and then we've got this way leads to another item as well, which will have a fight in it, guarding it with one of these trees. I could probably sneak past around him. So we got that, which was a Yomi's Elixir. No, Indigo Potion was what that one was. Alright, and now we have another pathway. Not that one, so it's going to be this one. And we can see here there's kind of there's an enemy hiding behind that wall that if we open it up, he would come after us. And we don't want that. And then we also don't want this guy, but he's doing his thing. Being a pain. And he caught me. Damn. Oh well. And we were surprised. So this might hurt a little bit, but I'm at full HP, full everything, so I'm not really scared. Napalm fruit's actually kind of an annoyance because it just kind of spreads out from there. And the only problem with the fairy egg is it has absolutely no offensive capabilities. So Elena is stuck with White Apocalypse if you want to actually do any damage with her. So, is kind of a trade-off. Also makes the tight dress Dragon Rod combo a little more viable, especially if you spend a ton of money buying a lot of the silver feathers that the one gentleman outside had. So you've got that. It is a very viable strategy. I kind of want to use it, but and we get another 9,000 gold that we'll never be able to spend. But you know, we need to set up a retirement fund for when we, you know, save the universe. So, you know, Ryudo's constantly thinking ahead, and this one fight we really cannot escape because we have to be there. We have to go through that particular egg. So, kinda sucks, but is what it is. And these are weak to fire. So we'll just Hellburner, and that should take care of them. Because really, we've got Valmar 2, and then we've got Valmar 3, which is the next area, which I should be able to get into to start, and then after Valmar 3 is the final section. So yeah, there's not terribly much left in this game. Alright, I don't think they're actually weak to fire. That did not kill them. I was expecting it to. I mean, Tio's got she's got 2 chance upping the damage by 50% each, because they're maxed, and then 2 magic skill bonuses, which affect magic damage output, so you'd think that would be enough, but apparently not. So, and another fight. I actually don't think I'm going the right way here. I'm probably not, but it doesn't matter because we could just Sky Dragon Slash. You could just run away from these fights too and just kind of go through them, but you know, it's free coins. Not that I need coins. I still have an overabundance of coins that I do not, you know, need to futz around with. But I've got more than enough at the moment to, you know, to focus on. My original strategy beating this game was... Oh no, that was the right way. Because we needed that Yomi's Elixir, and then we need to come up here and go through this exit. Because what this exit does is it takes us to this, which will raise some of the platforms up, allowing us to get to a different section of the map. And I'm definitely going to clear this map in this episode. I come up over here and we get the Yomi's Elixir, and then we press this one and it raises more. So 13 is just money. And now we should have access to everything at this point. So we come over here and we get the money. That was what I was just looking at. We come in here and there is going to be enemies. And then there's also 2 items. There's a scattering stone. And then there is a potion. I don't remember what potion that is. 9. A mystic potion. So we get that by actually raising another section with a thing in there. We want the Holy Ghost Staff, which is technically Elena's best weapon. You know, cuts MP consumption by 10%. I'm okay with that. That's really the best that we can aim for with her. And we come in here, and where is that switch? There's the switch. However, raising it up will also raise up these enemies, so you want to position yourself in a relatively safe place while everything raises up, and then just run. Run away. You want to be as far away from these guys as possible, because the new bad guys are kind of a pain, so we're just going to skip those. We do not need to fight them. And we'll come over here, recover, and save. And that's actually where I'm going to end this episode. So I will see you guys in the next installment, where we will tackle New Valmar Section 3. So till then, later everyone.